click to share on WhatsApp, opens in new window, click to share on Facebook, opens in new window, click to share on Twitter, opens in new window. Fantasy football is back and raring to go ahead of what could be the best Premier League season to date. Hundreds of thousands of you have already signed up to play Dream Team this season, and it's easy to see why, with a massive £750,000 prize pot at stake despite entry to play being entirely free. Want to play fantasy football? Sign up here. But which players are being picked the most in the early weeks before the big kick-off between Arsenal and Leicester on August 11th? The Manchester United new boy is quite considerably the most picked player on Dream Team so far, with over half of managers plumping for the £75 million man. Dream Team managers evidently haven't been deterred by Kane's value this season. He's the most expensive player, and his 29 goals in the Premier League last season prove why. Arguably the biggest new face on the game, Lacazette's prolific scoring rate in France has convinced nearly a third of managers that he's the man for their attack. No midfielder scored more league goals in Europe's top 5 leagues last season, so Ali's popularity is a given. Pogba is a star-man machine, and who scored, our ratings providers, algorithm favourite, and will likely settle even more in his second season back in England. Perhaps the best bargain on the game, Jesus looks likely to keep Sergio Aguero out of Manchester City's starting lineup after 7 goals and 4 assists from just 8 starts last season. Everton's new £30 million signing is also the most picked goalkeeper on Dream Team so far, with nearly a quarter of managers going for Pickford between the sticks. Hazard won over fantasy football players again last season with some glittering displays after a torrid year the campaign before. Despite uncertainty about his future, Aguero is a fantasy football machine, and only Alexis Sanchez, 348, scored more points on Dream Team than the Argentine's 307 last season. Liverpool's talisman looks like having a more central role this season, which resulted in 3 goals and 2 assists in just 2 games at the back end of last term. The Manchester United new boy is likely to start alongside Eric Bailly in a pretty watertight defensive unit under Jose Mourinho. Rooney, despite being in his latter years, remains a popular pick, and a return to Everton could be the jump-start his career needed after fading at United. Bailly took to the Premier League like a duck to water last season and can get even better under Mourinho again this time around. De Gea's United future looks more concrete this summer, with Real Madrid's interest cooling, and he's always in with a shout to win the Golden Glove come the end of the season. The top Dream Team points scorer is comparatively quite far down the rankings, perhaps because his future at Arsenal is shrouded in doubt. Arguably the most eye-catching player to watch in the Premier League on his day, nobody registered more assists in the top flight than De Bruyne last season. Liverpool's new boy is as pacey as they come and will be out to prove the doubters wrong after failing to make an impression at Chelsea 3 years ago. Another Everton new boy makes the top 20, with Keane really catching the eye last season by leading Burnley to survival. The most expensive English player and most priciest defender of all time is still a popular pick and will be a guaranteed starter at City after Pablo Zabaleta and Bacary Sagna's exits. The man they call Dave at Chelsea is a firm favourite of Antonio Conte, and no defender scored more fantasy football points last season. The setup for Dream Team is rather simple. As a manager you get a budget of £50 million to spend on your team of 11 players. Game weeks will run from Friday to Thursday this season, and you'll be allowed to transfer out players who have already played in that game week. Each manager gets a maximum of 3 transfers a month, so it's important to pay attention to upcoming fixtures. And if the incentive of beating your mates in our mini-league system isn't enough, there's a whopping £750,000 prize pot at stake too. Team names have become almost as important as picking winning sides in recent years, with the punnier the better the general perspective. So whether it's Lallana in pyjamas, Giroud Sandstorm, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Skrtel, take a look at our foolproof list to help you decide. You can stay up to date with all the latest fantasy football news with our Fantasy Football Live blog and sign up to Dream Team for next season right here. Like what you see? Keep up to date with all the latest with our Fantasy Football Live blog and sign up to play Dream Team below.